Did you know that the Michigan has only been scored by 4 players in NHL history? Now, a few of these guys have scored it a couple times, so today what I wanted to do was make a tier list ranking every Michigan done by these 4 players. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you do that now, and we're going to get right into it. So the first person to ever actually pull off the Michigan was Andrei Svechnikov back in October of 2019. In a game against the Calgary Flames, apparently Svechnikov had been working on this for months in order to pull it off. This attempt was very successful because of how this play developed. Svechnikov was able to pull this off by going behind the net and tricking the goalie to go to the wrong side. Because of how much time he had, he was able to corral the puck and just rip it to the far side against the goalie. This would mark the first time a player was ever able to do the Michigan, and honestly, it was just nasty. So we're going to put Svechnikov's first Michigan in the nasty category. Not only did Svechnikov score the first Michigan goal, but he also was the player to score the second one before any other player had done it. His second Michigan goal came in December of 2019, about a month and a half after his first against the Winnipeg Jets. Now, obviously playing against Connor Hellebuyck is not an easy thing, so instead of just stopping halfway this time, Svechnikov slows down the entire play, almost faking a stop. He then would corral the puck again on his stick blade and continue his motion and attempted it on the far side, getting a successful Michigan against Hellebuyck in a very tight window. I can't say that it's better than the first one, even though I like the skill of it a little bit more. I want to put it on par with the first one because they were both just so nasty, and this one was just within a tight window that honestly I don't think too many players could have hit. So Svechnikov is getting 2 in the tier of nasty. Next up is a guy that I'm so big on, Filip Forsberg. I don't think this guy gets enough love from the hockey community, but let's take you back to when he was playing against the Edmonton Oilers and did one of the more impressive things in his career. The difference between Forsberg and Svechnikov's Michigans is that Forsberg was going at full speed when he was taking the puck from one side of the goalpost to the other. In this sequence, he had incredible control of the puck, and if you watch the way he scoops it onto his stick blade, it's very different than the way that Svechnikov was doing it in his previous 2 Michigans. I'm putting Forsberg's Michigan in the nasty category as well. The skill, control, and patience he had on this play was just downright ridiculous, and I think this guy deserves a lot more love. Like I said, some of his goals are just so greasy. The next player up on this list is Trevor Zegras. Now, he's attempted a lot of Michigan goals in his career. In fact, he tried 2 in his first 2 seasons of the NHL against the Blues and against the Flames, which were both unsuccessful. But after his 2 first unsuccessful attempts, it didn't seem like Trevor Zegras was getting discouraged at all. In fact, he scored his first Michigan goal against the Montreal Canadiens in January of 2022. This was probably the most unexciting Michigan goal just because there were no fans at the Bell Center during the COVID restrictions. That didn't stop Zegras from celebrating, but not having fans in the stadium erupting after such a sick goal really kind of took away from this one. I don't want to say this was a bad Michigan goal because it was just nasty, but it definitely was missing that crowd excitement, which is why I think it's probably the worst Michigan goal pulled off. Not because it wasn't skillful, but just because there were no fans in attendance, making it feel like there was no buzz surrounding how cool the goal actually was. Thankfully, that wasn't the only Michigan goal we'd ever see from Zegras, because in April of 2022, on April Fool's Day, Trevor Zegras fooled the entire Arizona Coyotes team. Zegras scored his second Michigan after being denied on a between-the-legs shot. Now, this was honestly one of the most skillful plays I've ever seen from Zegras, putting the puck between his legs, grabbing his own rebound, and then having enough skill to get around Sonny Milano, calibrating his stick around in the air was just a beautiful play. I'm going to put this Michigan in perfect. Something about the way that Zegras had so much patience on this play, the amount of skill and puck control that he was managing to keep throughout the entire sequence is just a perfect example of how to execute a Michigan. This next one is sort of a Michigan, but more like a lacrosse style play. And again, it's coming from your boy Trevor Zegras. Now, this guy has not only been able to score 2 Michigans in his career, but this third one is a beautiful pass to Sonny Milano. Now, in this play, he convinces every single player on the opposing team that he's about to pull off yet another lacrosse move, and rightfully so. I mean, this guy has attempted it multiple times in his career and has been successful twice already, so why should the opponent believe anything otherwise? But in this play, after tricking players, he manages to flip the puck over to Sonny Milano in one of the most beautiful pass plays I've ever seen in my life. Now, it's not technically a Michigan, but I just wanted to include it on this list because it was just so cool. So we're putting this Trevor Zegras Michigan pass in the cool category just because it was such a beauty to watch in real time. And the last one on this list is Kent Johnson. This is the most recent Michigan goal, and honestly, it's hands down my favorite. Kent Johnson is going down the right side of the boards and pulls off such a slick move before going around beyond the net and entering into his first Michigan goal as a Columbus Blue Jacket. Now, the thing about this goal is the entire sequence for Kent Johnson. First is the nifty move he puts on one of their defensemen, circles the net, and gets a beautiful Michigan goal that was so clean. And the thing afterwards is his celly. The way he raises his hands like, are you not entertained? It's just a perfect goal by Kent Johnson, and honestly belongs in the perfect category as well. Let me know your thoughts on this tier list and comment some suggestions for other tier lists you guys like me to make in the future. I thought this one would be fun just because there are only 4 players who have ever pulled it off, and going through these was just a lot of fun for me. So like this video and comment your thoughts about other tier lists you'd like to see me do in the future. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.